Welcome in, welcome in. I hope everybody's doing well. And this Wednesday, it is today. Sunny Wednesday for once, not raining and pouring down as usual. So while we wait, I'm waiting for Toby to be available so we can start interview. Today's interview is going to be with Toby from Warhorse Studios and the one and only studio that developed Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So we've been looking forward to this. I have been looking forward to this interview for a long time now. And we managed to match our days and hours together. So I'm trying to log in the background and see if he is online or the account is online. Kind of early, it says. So we'll wait a little bit until he is available. So the stream is activated with followers only chat currently, due to the fact I will also mute any drop sounds and anything that it's currently available in this view. I will not be available while the interview is ongoing. So I've been away a little bit and been traveling a bit as well. And during this time, I also got news from Twitch that we will increase the stream quality up to 2K. So the next stream that I'm going to do, gaming modes, is going to be in trial and error, and we're going to try it out and see if it works as intended. And if it does, it's going to be quite better quality on Twitch. Instead of currently I'm recording and uploading this interview as well to YouTube, so those who missed it will be able to look at it with better quality than compressed to Twitch standards, which is quite low compared to what I see and what you see. So I'm still waiting for Toby to come online. I'm a little bit early, and yeah, I won't blame him. He has busy days. So I hope everybody's doing well and had a good time, a good weekend. Currently, we have some summer time incoming as well, and I will continue streaming as much as possible. I don't have current dates right now, but they will be up in the schedule as well, and we will continue streaming. Most likely continue the hardcore mode on Kingdom Come as well. So that will be upcoming streams. So let's see if I try to reconnect here. If it won't mean to. All right, I'm early. No worries. I'm eager to ask my questions. And if you have any questions you want to ask, you can do that by sending them into the chat. And you know the drill. You can find the information there as well. I'm going to double check my information as well, because I know that since we changed the dates and all that, so there's nothing that came up that would hinder the interview. But it seems like it is up and running. No information yet, so we just wait patiently. So, some small facts regarding Kingdom Come as well. If you haven't played it yet, you should. You should at least check it out on Steam. Code is.
I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to
Hey,
me.
thank you for joining in, Joxer, and thank you for following. And that's for 36 months in row. That's exactly 3 years. That's quite a while. That's quite a while. How are you doing? How are you doing, Joxer? we have Toby in the background, so I'm going to swap over. Hello, Toby.
What's up?
I'm fine, and thank you. Just let me organize your screen a little bit, because
Cool.
you're... I'm gonna pin you down. And I'm gonna pin myself down, and we're going to... Now you're smaller. That's not correct. There we go. First time trying out Teams streaming, so this is interesting. So if something happens, it's Microsoft's fault, right?
Worst case, I can jump to Discord or something, but I'm in the office and we work with Teams here and there. I know it works, so never underestimate the power of IT to block stuff. So
Yeah, well, it seems fine. Your sound quality is excellent, so...
is it? Okay, great.
It's excellent. So how are you doing?
Busy, super busy, flying from one fire to the other. But fire is a bit dramatic. It's actually positive stuff. So it's appointments, it's business talks, it's press coming into the house, and so on and so on. So sorry for my delay. It's just a few minutes, but still. So yeah, we are right now preparing the second DLC. It takes a while. We want to showcase it on some events, so this needs some preparation as well. So like, what can we cut out? How can we prepare it so that it's short enough and crisp enough that we can show stuff? And on a personal note, well, it's not half personal. In June, every weekend in June, I have a work weekend, so I'm now constant 30 days non-stop working. Yeah, so for the community, right? So there was Game Access in Brno, which is a city in the east of Czech Republic. It's like a game developers conference. This weekend will be Rock for People, which is a huge rock and metal festival in Czech Republic, and we'll be there with the booth as well next weekend. And there's the same date. There's even two events happening at the same date. The same date is a community organized event in Ratai, the KCD1 location. So there's like KCD1 and of course KCD2, but KCD community gathering. That's nice. That's also this weekend. Next weekend is in Kuttenberg. There's a big city festival, which is actually really nice. And if any one of you can go, I would really recommend that one. It's called in English Silvering. And it's pretty much the whole city being in cosplay, and there's like horse parades and everything is in medieval times, and they're cosplaying the time like of 1410 or so, well, before the Hussite Wars, but after KCD2. So it's like almost the same time, the right time, and we will have a booth there as well. Meet and greet with the people, drink a lot of beer, shake a lot of hands. And the last weekend in June, I will fly to China for an event there. And then there's July, and I will take some days off, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's your schedule. That's quite a hefty. First of all, Toby, I want to thank you for the very, very welcome when it was in Prague last time. It was amazing. And the booth I was lucky to be at your booth as first person, basically, because after that it was chaotic.
Yes, sorry. I really tried hard to get you in and out and everywhere and be there for you, but I usually go, what's interesting? I go to those events usually without a schedule. So there's the event team and they're setting up the booth and everything. There's QA taking care of the PCs, and I'm there just to be there. And usually I always say, don't worry, I will be at the booth. I will help you with everything and whatnot. And the guys are always saying, yeah, we're not expecting you to do anything there, and it's not even on purpose. But when I'm at this event, there's a million people who want to talk to me, or there's some business thing going on or me checking out on some merchandise stuff. I really don't know. There's always something, and I end up to be running from A to B to C to D, and then the day is over. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, no worries. I had the luxury to try out the DLC and have also discussions with your team, um, and pointed out some bugs which are already fixed now in this patch, and also went out of the box. But it's kind of funny because I'm streaming the game, and plan to stream the game in hardcore mode, full game again. So, but it was amazing, and I would like to come to Prague again. What it seems like from my schedule part is that, yeah, maybe next year. It's kind of busy as well. So, but yeah, working 30 days in a row, I don't envy you, to be honest. That's kind of crazy.
I'm sure there's some law or something that this is not allowed. But if any Czech law abider is watching, don't worry, I'll get my free time. It's not like I'm being chained to PC or something.
Yeah, it's by free will, so to say.
Good.
Yeah. So basically the reason why I wanted to interview you is because I mentioned it before as well, but everybody else watching is that I do interview. Doing that. I've done chapters when it comes to mental health, and life happens, and there's obstacles you want to come through. And I've been reading a lot regarding Warhorse Studios and the story behind Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 until you delivered Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And it's not like a straight arrow. There's been lots of hiccups, not from your part, but challenges on the way until before you actually release the first game. And it makes me wonder, first of all, who is Toby? I want to know. Is everybody else asked that? If it's okay to call you Toby because your name is Tobias.
Yes, of course.
So who is Toby and how did you end up at Warhorse?
Oh, you're starting with a big philosophical question. Who is who am I? Do you know the movie Anger Management?
Yes.
Where he's asking, is it Adam Sandler? I think also, who are you? And Adam Sandler's like really panicking because answering that question seems to be super hard. Well, I will tell you who my professional Toby is. So I'm the Toby, the communications director at Warhorse Studios. I'm with the team since 2014, right after the Kickstarter was successful. That's when Warhorse Studios found out that they now actually have to talk to the people. So they hired some comms guys. I was hired as a community manager, but my former colleague and now again colleague JR, he was the marketing and PR manager back in the days. But we figured that while he's genius in marketing, he doesn't really enjoy talking to people. So PR was something where I asked, hey, listen, can I maybe try it? And within a week or so, I pretty much switched to PR and officially became the PR manager in 2015. Since then, I was trying to shape the public image, tone, and so on of the studio, and somehow then became myself somewhat of this studio's face, voice, something. Being the link between the community and the outside world, and not only community but also press and other studios and so on, and our own studio. So maybe something of an ambassador, someone would call me a mascot, I don't know. So a bit of everything. But throughout the last years, especially since 2019 and maybe somewhere there, I started to get way deeper into the brand side, the brand building of Warhorse, and representing Warhorse Studios. Where does this ship sail? How do we want to position ourselves? Who are we? And so on and so on. And now got recently promoted to communications director, which means my palette of jobs doesn't really change dramatically. It's just more. It's more of a formality, but it represents more of what I'm actually doing here at Warhorse. Um, Personality. So I'm half German, half Czech. So I was born and raised in Germany and then moved to Czech Republic in 2012. But inside, since I was small, I was always asked if I'm more Czech or more German. That is something that people apparently really needed an answer for. Um, so I always felt a little bit like sitting on two chairs in a way,
Yeah.
but deep down, I always felt more intrigued and more interested and more home on my Czech side. So I did my master's in journalism, my bachelor in journalism in Germany, and then moved to Czech Republic. Then I wanted to have some foreign university studies so that I'm more interesting on the market, and decided to move to Czech Republic, which I was trying to cheat a little bit, go the easy way, because I do speak the language, and I had a flat here in Prague, so that was good. Um, so I moved here to Prague in 2012, yeah, in 2012, and but this was the time. For the first time, I lived alone, Czech beer, Czech women, and I never returned home. So my mom, who fled the Czech Republic before the revolution, uh, would have never figured that I would then go back to the Czech Republic instead of her. So that was it's kind of funny, but I think that's in a nutshell. Or do you need a more? Do you want a more
No, no, no. It's
deeper
more.
philosophical?
That's kind of that's interesting background because you have like two pair of roots, so to say.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not because I would say you are the person that you feel inside. It doesn't really
Yeah.
matter if a German or from Czech. Doesn't it's not. But for some people that's important because people wants to know where are you from, who are you. It doesn't really define you as a person because, well, you're multicultural, so to say. That's
Sometimes it does, because you get a certain set of traits or something that are that you inherit by culture in a way. So
yeah,
if you grow up in certain parts of the world, then you will and go through your childhood through in those parts, then you will inhale what you see and what they teach you or what you hear and what not. So I think where you come from does matter, but it of course, and it a little bit defines at least your preset of
yeah.
skills. Like in an RPG, you start as a soldier or I don't know, paladin or mage or whatever, and have different sets in the beginning, but then throughout life, throughout playing, you set up and skill what you believe
I like
benefits you most.
I like
Yeah.
the I like your comparison. You're comparing your life to your RPG because that's basically the image I usually have. What skill set do you actually have on this? Do I need to increase it or lower it? But
Yes,
how do you end up at Warhorse? I mean,
yeah. There was a funny story. So, as I said, I studied journalism here and tried to find a job in a journalism career. So I was working for newspapers here, radio stations, TV stations, and so on. My huge So while I speak fluent Czech and I can read fluent Czech, I don't write very well in Czech. It's really imagine you. I don't know how good your French is, but imagine you would. Imagine you would write in French exactly the way how you hear it,
yeah,
and that's how I write in Czech, which is almost always wrong. But it's only a few letters that are wrong, which means that everyone kind of understand. Well, not kind of. Everyone understands what I'm trying to write, but reading it is sometimes so hard for the people because there's so huge mistakes, wrong letters, and so on in there that it took a while until the people understood. Which is funny because I'm a press. I wrote. I usually write English, so that doesn't really matter much. But when I was writing emails to Czech media or whatever, they were like, "Are they employing like a 10-year-old or something?" So that was funny. but as I said, I was trying to pursue a journalism career, but this showed to be a hard task because of that fact. I was good in what I was trying to do, but I always needed someone to correct my texts, which late made me feel kind of shitty, and it was also double the work for a single article. So uh, I figured that's the time to move back to Germany. Plus, my money slowly but steadily ran out. I worked for a short while for the German um, 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 foreign correspondent. The guy
Yeah.
who's here from London talking for Swedish TV or whatever, and the London
Yeah.
correspondent or whatever talking. So I was talking for the German ones for Berlin, like sitting in Prague, and that was great, but they couldn't hire me because I don't know why. And um, I then said, okay, damn, now is the time. I will unfortunately have to go back. And I was living in the flat I mentioned earlier, and above me. So I was one day coming home from I don't know where, and went to the elevator, and there was like this huge bearded dude who said, "Hey, what's up? Are you living here?" I said, "Yes, of course I'm living upstairs. Yeah, my name is Daniel." I was looking at him. I was like, "Hey, I saw this dude somewhere. Really, I really saw him somewhere. I have no idea where." So I went to my apartment and started to Google Daniel Vavra. What the heck is that? I heard him, I saw him, I can't remember where. And then I realized that a week earlier, I saw him on a German game show. Back in the days, it was called Game One. And they
Yeah.
were talking about the new hardcore game Kingdom Come Deliverance on Steam right now, on Kickstarter right now, and everyone should bag it and whatnot. And I said, "Oh wow! So this dude is the dude who started this Kickstarter thing." Well, then I figured out, wait a moment, this dude is also the dude who created Mafia 1 and partially Mafia 2. So two games that are very popular here in the Czech Republic. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, so he's some kind of video game legend. And I said, I always played video games. I do love video games. Super Nintendo, by the way, the best console there is. And uh, I was looking up their homepage for what kind of jobs they offer, and most of the stuff was really technical stuff, programmers and whatnot. I said, okay, damn it, so nothing again. A week later, or 2 weeks later or so, uh, Thursday evening, 10 p.m., something like that, I looked up the homepage again, and they were looking for a community manager with
Yeah.
background in media, press, whatnot. I said, okay, that's it. I will just try it. Why not? So I printed my CV, took some clothes, went down the stairs, knocked on the door of Daniel. His wife or partner came out. I asked, "Hey, is Daniel at home?" She, of course. So she called Daniel. Daniel came in his undies, and I was like, "Hey, I know who you are, and I love what you do. Here's my CV." And he was laughing, haha, but it's really shitty paid. We just said, "Hey, don't worry, I'm a freelance journalist. Everything is shitty paid. I'm used to that." And a month later or so, I got hired as community manager. So I was at the right time at the right moment. I didn't wait a second. I saw it. I just in Czech Republic you say there's a saying that you um, um, how do you say that in English? Like meet luck halfway, something like that. You have to
All
go
right.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't wait for it. You have to go towards it.
Yeah.
So I saw the situation. I went to it, and that's how I. Then I harassed them a little bit because they were not answering. So I was like, hey, what's going on? But then they hired me, and it's now 11 years.
Whoa, time flies. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting because it's about taking the opportunity and not hesitating about believing yourself and actually doing it,
Mhm.
and not giving up, because that's it. Not giving up, because if you would give up, just send in your CV and wait.
Yeah. No.
It's not. It's you need to actually work for it and push for it and so on. So, but this actually leads to the next question to regarding, because you joined Warhorse Studios during the Kickstarter, and there is a story behind how they ended up in Kickstarter as well. It was kind of rocky road before we ended up over there, but comparing now, the Kingdom Come Deliverance one, I got some facts. It got actually sold out by February 2024. It sold 6 million copies. And comparing it to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which sold 1 million copies in one day. And by, was it 4th of February? Yeah, 4th of February, that's about 1 million copies. And February 17th, you have sold 2 million copies. That's 13 days. And by May, you have sold 3 million copies. This is just
crazy.
This is crazy, but that's crazy because you had like, and also it's kind of interesting if you look like the highest peak you had was 256,000 players at the same time on Steam. Now, that's old, maybe old data, but that's 250,000 people playing your game. And
at one moment, right?
One moment. That if you're trying to comprehend that, it's like that's quite a lot. And I mean, what was the biggest challenge for you that you feel like from like Kingdom Come 1 to you have? I mean, there's always challenges and risks or whatnot, but going from a title that you saw slowly growing from like 2018 until February 2024. Do you feel anything? I know that you work a lot. I mean, you work like now 30 days a lot in a row, and you have to fly, and you need to do interviews like this one, all that. So, what was the? I would say, what was the greatest challenge between the Kingdom Come 1 and 2? Would you say that?
Oh, that's a difficult question. You know, the thing is with KCD 1, there were several sink or swim moments. So the publishers before Kickstarter didn't want the game, didn't trust in the game, so it was almost game over. They found a private investor who needed some kind of proof or something because he invested vertical slices and everything and kept the studio alive, but without like proper publishing or whatever, or some form of, hey, this is really a thing that really is interesting for people, that would mean game over. So last straw was, hey, there's this new platform Kickstarter, people will judge by their wallets, and there you will have your proof.
Yeah.
We wanted 300,000 British pounds, got 1.1 million, but it was really not to finance the entire game. It was really just a, hey, we need to break it into something that is like digestible, and we have proven that people like are interested in that. So if the Kickstarter would have failed, studio would have never continued working on KCD 1. Then we came to the release of the first game, KCD 1 again, right? So before the release, I mean, yeah, we had alphas, betas, press stuff, but then again, we were nervous as hell because when the release would have been wrecked, not good enough, then again, it would be no DLCs because we wanted to have DLCs, but couldn't invest the time and the brain work into it because for A, we had to work on the base game, and for B, we didn't know if it's a commercial success so that it keeps the studio alive. So the next sink or swim moment was the release. Then, as you said, we had the 1 million copies, I think, in a week or two or so, and the 2nd million in the first year, I think.
Yeah.
So 2 million in a year. And for KCD 2, we were expecting everything to be, for the when you're, I think it's the same for all the creative, like painters and filmmakers, music makers. For the longest time, you strongly will believe that the thing you're working on is utter bullshit, and no one will like it, and it's crap. But then at some point, when people start telling you, hey, listen, what you have there is actually really good, then you slowly but steadily start believing this. And we had this moment in January when the first previews came in because we were sending the review code for a month ahead, and we could then like get early previews from press, and they were like, this is amazing. And we're like, for like, really? Okay, good. Okay, we'll take it. Um, so we were expecting it to be successful based on what we heard from those previews and reviews. Then the reviews came in, which were all like on average like 88 of 100 or so, which is almost 9 out of 10. So it's also amazing. They universally like the game, which is also great. There's like really 8, 9s, and 10s throughout the board. There's only really a few really rare instances where someone gave us lower than 8, but
Yeah.
usually, because for KCD1, it was jumping all over the places from 5s to 10s. There's like really, there was everything, and people were praising and hating different stuff. So it was really hard to pinpoint what's the exact problem. The only thing that they unitedly agreed on is that it ran like shit in the beginning because of technical stuff. So we tried really hard to make sure that the technical thing that everyone agreed on was bad in the first game would run butterly smooth for the second game. So there was a big focus on that.
Yeah.
Um, but then, as you said, 1 million in a day, 2 millions in 2 weeks, 3 millions in 3 months. And now I hope that we don't have to wait 4 years for the fourth million.
I,
So,
I doubt you will wait until. I mean, this is, as you said, it's the users, the gamers. Those are the biggest critics, of course, because we are the consumers of the product itself, and as a creator, you always want to believe you're in your product, but there is always whatever. It doesn't matter what you create. There's always lows when you feel like,
yes.
have I missed anything? You start to doubt yourself, and even you read your reviews, but the cold fact is the amount of sold copies. That is the success story for you, so to say. And also, as I mentioned at the Comic Con in Prague, it was that I've been playing games since 1988. I mean, that's that's quite a
A
while.
year later, I was born.
Yeah, well, this is this is one of my top 5 games ever. I mean, it's
Oh, wow.
I have my Mass Effect, I have my Baldur's Gate series, I have my Witcher series, and all that Oblivion series. Those are the classics, right? But when I play a game, I want to have that feeling, which I had also in this game, because when I played it for the first time, it's like, okay, now what? You feel when you feel that emptiness in yours, like I want more, but there isn't anything else. You had to wait for your DLCs. You start playing the game again, and so on. Start to push yourself. I need to find every single location, try to explore, and which we can, and that's amazing because it's when a game basically sucks you in, and you basically can't stop playing it. It's like a good book or a good movie. You need to focus on it and redo it, and you find different small things hidden away. Which there's lots of Easter eggs in this game. I'm not gonna say anything about that, and you're laughing because there's tons of them.
Yeah, tons of them. Everything, and the worst part of it is because there's like I was asked by press like what's my favorite Easter egg or if people have found them all or whatnot. The worst part about it is that no one keeps track of it. Like there's no list of these are the 99 Easter eggs or whatever.
No.
Every single department threw in so many Easter eggs. And the thing is, we could only find and stop so many because some of them were really too much or too crazy, or Daniel Wavra didn't like the fact that there were dinosaurs in cutscenes in the beginning, so dinosaurs are gone. So there's a UFO, there's the aliens somewhere, there's Puss in Boots, there is in one of the cutscenes, something that people found out recently, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, in one of the cutscenes, if you pause the game and move the camera and whatnot, there's actually a medieval film crew with the microphone, with the camera, and so scene
I
behind. And it's you have to have mods or something installed to get there, but people found it. So it's there's a lot of Czech Easter eggs that are only relevant for Czech people, but we did this again. We have this community first approach, and Czech people are so Czech KZD is really special here, and it created some kind of national pride in a way that this product this video game is a way to represent Czech Republic in the world in a positive way. That is not only alcohol and hookers and whatnot, but all like video games and culture and history and so on. So they took this in a very good way and went to streamers of the world and tried to show them, hey, play this Czech game, that's great. And so to have something small for them, or something small, something to appreciate. There's a lot of like really Czech inside jokes of some famous TV people and some quotes of some stuff, and there was this famous news piece where a hiker, a woman, was hiking somewhere and she fell somewhere in the forest and slipped under a root of a tree and was lying there for 24 hours or like throughout the entire night. However, that root was extremely big, so like being stuck there is pretty much impossible. And she was lying like 5 meters away or so from the camp. So no one knows why the heck this lady decided to either be there or stay. Something's fishy on that story. Anyway, this story is also written in one of the manuscript books. So when you're going through the Dostoevsky, I think it's Dostoevsky, the bailiff has the book of crimes there, and one of the crimes or one of the what happened in town was like this lady being stuck under the root. So
Yeah.
it's like little things where Czech people will cheer when they see this.
It's a recognition that it's a homage. It's nice to implement that. The one thing that I also noticed when I was in Prague, when I was on the town square, as I was talking about the big watch, I think I showed you the picture, and I recognize the structure of buildings, the placements, and all that. And if you stand in the city in Kingdom Come, it's the same aerial like placements of the buildings and the big watch, even though it's not the same as in the game, because the original one, as it's mentioned as well, it doesn't exist anymore. But the atomic watch, not the atomic watch, sorry, the I lost the word of it. The big clock tower
astronomical
yeah,
clock.
thank you. Yeah, it's the placement of that and the buildings around it and the town square and the buildings behind it. This is like a copy of the ones in the game, even though it's not the same, but it's felt like an homage to Prague as well.
But, not really. So what we tried really hard is to rebuild Kuttenberg into its 1403 look, right?
Mhm.
So we are trying to take what's in Kuttenberg and try to really get back to its original look in a way. And I think it's a coincidence that really a coincidence that from one of the sides, if you look at the town, in Prague, we have the very famous Old Town Square. That's what you were describing, with the huge tower with the astronomical clock.
Yep.
And next to it is the big space with buildings around. Now, I think it's a maybe it's not a coincidence, but maybe it's some kind of style. I don't know, but I think it's but definitely in Kuttenberg, the layout is the same, but it's not copied from Prague. It's how it was supposed to be in Kuttenberg. The only thing that is different is that today in Kuttenberg, exactly as you said, that town is missing. The tower is missing. There's nothing. There's like a cut-out corner.
Yeah.
But we know that there was a tower, and we know that there was it was the town hall actually, and we know they had an astronomical clock, but no one knows how it actually looked like. So we were then, and this is where it comes back to Prague. We were then trying to get inspired and take inspiration from other astronomical clocks, and took the most famous one, the one in Prague, and of course tweaked it a little bit. Didn't want to copy it, but took great inspiration from that one. So
Yeah.
it's I think it's a coincidence that it looks the same as it does in Prague. It doesn't the square in Gutenberg doesn't have to do anything with the original in Prague one, but the tower definitely, the entire tower and the layout of the tower is heavily inspired by the one that is on the uh, um, um, Old Town Square.
Yeah. But it was funny because I I asked you the same question as well in Prague, but it went to a moment when I actually stopped in the old town square in Prague when I saw that, and I froze because it's like I've been here before, because it's a weird feeling. It's like, wait, stop. And I told my friends who were with me, I was like, hang on, I need to take some pictures because I need to have proof of this and compare it, because the feeling that you have been there, even though it's not, but it looks so much the same. So it felt like I've been fighting over here or stealing stuff or whatever. So
Have you
yeah,
managed to visit real life Gutenberg?
no, it's in my list, and
Yeah. So
that's
you should
actually
absolutely, yeah, if you can the next time, if you have an extra day or something, it's really close to Prague. It's by train an hour or so, by
mhm,
car maybe as well. Um, and there, when you get inside the town and get to all those like bigger sightseeing things, you will have that feeling again. You will know the streets, you will recognize the streets. When I was showing off the game to press for the first time, there was in I think it was July 2024. Uh, I let them play for 4 hours, and of those 4 hours, it was I think 3 hours of new game and 1 hour of roaming around the city of Gothenburg. And there was this quest with Menhard, the German sword fencing master. And we after that, I took them on a city tour and took them to the exact locations they saw in the game, or most likely saw in the game, because the quest led them through there.
yeah,
And people were shitting bricks. I took them to the locations. At every location, there was I prepared a dude uh, in cosplay who had a huge poster in his hand of that in-game screenshot, and people were like, "Oh yeah, absolutely! I see it, I feel it, I believe it." That's KCD.
yeah. That's why I appreciate as well, because you took so much from the locations into the game, and that's also a reason I want to visit all these places that are available to visit. I have my travel list, and it's planned to, for me, it's planned to next year, and I hope the weather will be all right when I do that. But it's there's so much to see in the game as well. You can walk around like in Gutenberg and do stuff. It takes hours and hours of gameplay and just doing that and trying to find every single stores, find every single room, and try to pickpocket people and try to open up the locks and sneak in and try just to explore and look at the stuff. And that's pretty funny. And I appreciate that the open world aspect in it as well, and also the historical parts that you brought into the game. And that's, I mean, even though it's not homage specifically to Prague or Gothenburg, it's homage to Czech Republic as well. I mean, it's the story around it. And as I read as well, that the story itself is correct. The only thing that it's fiction is the two characters that they play in the real.
Well,
Like, is that
you know,
correct or not?
it's a bit more complicated than that. I think the historical frame is we are based on a true. This game is based on a true story, so the historical frame is really things that happened in the background are more or less correct. You will meet most important characters, all of the nobilities, all are based on real life nobility. So from Liechtenstein and Zizka and Dry Devil, those are all people who really did something. And
Yeah,
the characters in game are based on what we know of those people. But then again, it's just a video game. So
yeah,
we take our creative freedom here and there. Luke Dale or Hans Capon is way older than he would be at that time, because the way how Hans is going through life, of course, that wouldn't work like that if he was, I don't know what age he would have been, like 8 or 10 or whatever. So he's now in his 20s in our game. Uh, um, Here, Marquardt von Aulitz would have been dead by that time already.
Hmm.
He dies a year later in our game, so he would be dead already in 14.3. But he dies at the same place in almost the same way how he died just a year earlier. So he was really shut down, apparently, um, at a siege. So
Yeah.
we take our creative liberties and everything, but I strongly believe still that this is the closest you can get in a, so far at least, the closest you can get in a video game to the Middle Ages. And we tried extremely hard to be authentic
Yeah.
and immersive, and at the end of the day, at least plausible. So nothing should be completely out of place. Maybe we are cheating here and there a little bit, maybe we're bending things here and there, but all in all, it should be a somewhat authentic and plausible possibility of how it could have looked like.
Yeah. I have. We are closing up to your scheduled time as well. I mean, I will not pull those strings too much. I still have have one important question to you. What would you say to those who are in your if you backtrack to 2017? The question is basically, what would you say for those who are wavering on an idea, thinking of taking a step into the unknown, but doesn't really dare to do that? What would be your wise quote to them?
It's a difficult question because I'm also at this point. I would like to at some point open, for instance, my own agency or something, have my own company, but I lack the courage to do that jump. But when it comes to like game development or becoming a streamer or something like that, I think the time offers you all the tools you need. You can get explanations and courses and how-tos and what walkthroughs, everything you need you can find on the internet for free pretty much. So that is a huge advantage that wasn't there back in the times. You can easily self-publish games on Steam. There was something existing, but not as easy as it is right now. Of course, the downside is that that there's much more traffic and it's much more busy. So
Yeah.
there's more people who can do the same thing. There's more new Twitch streamers, new indie games, new I don't know what. Therefore, you need to be much more clever in what's the special spice or what's the special something that sets you apart. But the start itself should be as easy as it has never been before. But sticking out is probably harder than it was before, I guess. But I think we are the video that video games are still a relatively young
Yeah.
entertainment media. So there's still a lot of things that are untouched, untamed, unexplored. And in our case, for instance, the whole I'm making a historic game or I'm trying to make something authentic, that is something that even with the success of KCD 1 and now KCD 2 is still something that is not being picked up that much. So I talked to an Italian journalist the other day, and he told me that off record that he would love if any Italian genre if any Italian game developer, any really, would do something about Italian history, about something from Tuscany or Rome or not, or maybe something that is not necessarily tied only to the Roman Empire because everyone uses that, but something like some national history that is being brought to the world.
Yeah.
And I wondered, I actually agreed. I hoped actually, or we were hoping that KCD would inspire other devs to tell their own thing in a way. And
Yeah.
let's see, maybe something comes up.
I think it's just I think it's fun to see. For me and many others as well, that if you compare if you compare these AAA studios, like they have endless of budget, whatnot, and startup stuff, and they don't, the risk taking is not that high. And coming out from, I wouldn't say nothing, but if you look at if you focus on KCD only, coming from a Kickstarter project, and now to the point on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and you're going out and we're going to release 3 DLCs and all that, and going from nothing, so to say, to now 2025, the amount of players and wanting people who wants more, because there is wishful thinking, people asking as well, what happens also after those DLCs? Will there be any Kingdom Come Deliverance 3? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I also read there will be not any Kingdom Come Deliverance 3. I wouldn't comment on that, but it's question is as well, what happens when you reach that endpoint of a product with the DLC and all that? What comes up next? So when I was comparing that to the emptiness when you play through a good story or read a good book or look through a good movie, Lord of the Rings, for instance, the extended versions. If you see all the movies and then it's like, okay, this is the end of the story, but you want more. So what will happen to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? What do you think? Not like, I'm not digging for information. It's more like, what is your hopes that will happen now?
Well, so first we are right now working on the 3 DLCs, now 2 left, and pretty much the entire studio's on that. We opened a new studio not long ago in Brno, which is a city in the east of Czech Republic. So we have another 30 developers now coming in. Now we are at a total of almost 300. And of course, you need to keep the crew and the gang occupied, of course. So you need to have interesting products and projects, because otherwise they will jump to other interesting products and job projects. So I mean, plus not everyone can work simultaneously on the stuff, because there's a certain way how the things work. For now, as I said, we are finishing up the DLCs, and then we have to put our heads together and see where the ship sails next, what we are doing next, what the studio's positioning will be. I can with guarantee tell you that we feel very comfortable in the RPG area, so I don't expect that we will do something else than RPGs at this time. Well, maybe, but I don't think so. I think RPGs are our thing at the moment. And we are thinking of how to, of course, expand on the, let's say, KCD franchise in a way. So there's comics, a comic book is in the making right now. We were approached by filmmakers back in the times before COVID, but then COVID happened, so that wasn't that got cancelled. But we are looking into if that thing can be reopened. Well, and then of course future games and future products. But as I said, we let's see where this goes, because we also don't want to do forever the same thing over and over again, because you can get something like fatigue then within your concept team or other teams that are always doing the same thing over and over again, and then you also lose talent. So it's a bit like agriculture. You have to mix and be diverse sometimes in what you're suing out, because if you're doing only grain over and over again, at some point you will have like this natural attrition. So
I hope you're as I mentioned before, the game itself, it's in my personal top, but the open world combination with the lore, the graphics, the music, the storyline, and the freedom of movement that you have in the game, it's amazing. That gives that opportunity. You can basically roam around, even though there is a hectic storyline in the background, but you don't need to technically do that in one shot. You can basically do whatever, and try out your stuff, and I think that's a big pointer to whatever game you develop today, that you need to have the freedom and not be linear and forcing people to do whatever in order to continue the game. Because so many games today that are released are like 20 hours gameplay and it's over. And this is, I mean, I think I punched in 220 hours in the first playthrough in Kingdom Come, and it's fun, but you don't feel the rush, even though there is stress in the background because there's a story that you need to complete, but it's not forced upon you. But I'm happy to hear. Sorry.
No, sorry.
I'm happy to hear that you have the idea of keeping yourself within the RPG lore, and because so far what I've seen, what I experienced is don't stop.
But the topic you were just touching, that's an interesting one, because gameplay length is something that every developer on Earth is really, I think, struggling with or discussing. Like how long is too long, and how short is too short, and is shorter good or is longer good, and it's difficult. I think no matter what the time is, it should be packed meaningfully. So don't make more quests just for the sake of having more quests, like fetch quests or whatever, to stretch gameplay time. That's kind of shitty. But if you fill it up with interesting stuff, but then again, people might not finish the game because it's just too long, and you want to be. It's a difficult topic for sure. I personally have usually a problem to finish games, but the reason is that I don't play so many games anymore. I usually play them for research purposes, let's say. So Claire Obscure, for instance, now Expedition 33, everyone talks about it, so I play it to see what it is, what people are hyping about, and so on. But I rarely finish stuff. The last game I finished was probably Breath of the Wild, the first Zelda on Switch. So that's already 5 years back or something.
Well, time does I usually also go back to old games and replay them or play them later on.
Oh yeah, well that I finished Super Mario World 100,000 times. So Super Nintendo by far the best console. Yoshi's Island, OG Mario Kart. That's my forte.
So it seems like I'm not gonna play Mario Kart against you then.
Well, not the original. I bet I'm extremely good, but this is life, sir. Too late. Goodbye. The original is. I would argue that I'm hard to beat. The Switch one, I'm okay, but not good enough. My partner's way better than me, so she's like really mopping the floor with me.
All right. One more question before we start to round up what is there that I have forgotten to ask you that you would like to tell or add?
I feel like I was asked all the questions in the world already, so there's really not so much to. Okay. Maybe you should have asked me when should I come again to Prague. So I would recommend you should come in September, because in September we are organizing a concert here, and we don't have a date yet, but we will announce it anytime soon, hopefully. Yeah. So there's a huge concert going on with a video production and symphonic orchestra and choir and everything. So this will be really cool. So, and it's still warm enough to go to Kuttenberg. So maybe a next Prague trip would be in September then.
September is all right. It's not impossible.
Yeah. And you can combine it to some culture music concert.
Yep. So yeah, and then Prague overall, it's nice as well. So don't forget.
You can dine and drink very well there. There's a lot of stuff to see here. People are okay friendly. So
Yeah. Depends where you go, but yeah. So, and again, Toby, thank you for very much for taking the time and
Yes.
the possibility to do this interview chat. It's not, my point isn't that I think you read the email about it. No, we're not going to talk about psychology and shrink stuff because that's not my cup of tea. I'm more interested in all this story about
I was just worried. I was just worried that I will not be able to answer the things that you are interested in.
No, yeah, more interesting of your story and the game itself and Warhorse Studios as well. And everybody who wants to read about it, there's tons of information about Warhorse Studios as well. And it's just about Google it and on your homepage as well. So the lore, the full lore is also on Wiki. If you want to read all their lore and all the people on that is in the game, you can do that day by day because that's nothing you can do on one evening because there's tons of it.
So there you go. Well, I hope. Thank you for the invitation. Definitely, it was fun talk.
Yeah.
I hope that you like it, that you are happy with it, and
yeah.
See you in September, I guess.
Hopefully, I will send you some question regarding September, and we'll see. It's nothing. It's I'm not going to say no, but it totally depends on my schedule, my personal schedule, on my work position, and all that. But is it on a weekend, first of all?
Well, I don't have a date yet, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
yeah. All right.
So I know it will be in September, but I cannot guarantee weekend. So that's
right.
Because concert, we need the concert hall, we need the musicians, we need the composer.
Yeah.
And the concert hall must carry at least 3,000 people. So it really limits the possibilities here in Prague.
But I'm going to type down September. I'm going to lock it in, and hopefully there will be a date soon, and I will double check it as well. And
Cool.
All right. Take care of yourself, Toby. And
thank you very much for having me. And see you soon.
See you soon. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right, people. Thank you for joining in and tuning in and listening at the interview with me and Toby from Warhorse Studios. I hope everybody's doing fine and well. And yeah, I'm going to publish this interview as well on YouTube, so it will be there on high quality. And next stream I'm going to do is also on high quality level. It's going to be streamed in 2K because I got the possibility to do that on Twitch. I got an invitation on the beta on that. So, but again, big thanks to everybody who joined in, and take care of yourselves. And thank you to Toby and Warhorse Studios to giving me the opportunity to make this interview. And yeah, I'm going to check my schedule for this autumn because it seems like a good thing and awesome idea to go and see the concert as well. And as I said, they're going to publish all the dates, so you can find more information on Warhorse Studios on their homepage and Facebook and Instagram as well. So, and they also have an own streaming channel. So if you haven't checked out the game yet, do that by visiting Steam store and check out Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And there's tons of information of it on YouTube as well. If you buy it, you won't regret it. The only thing you need is time. That's it. So have a good one, and I see you next time, all of you. Until next time, and we're going to do some more streaming on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 next stream. Have a good one.